Hey everyone, welcome to the Book Lounge. If you've ever felt stuck in your career, frustrated by your boss, or unsure how to climb the corporate ladder, then you're in the right place. Today, we're unlocking the secrets of managing up by Mary Abbajay, a game-changing guide to mastering workplace dynamics and getting ahead, no matter who you work for. This isn't just another book about leadership. It's about you taking control of your career, navigating office politics with confidence, and making your boss, yes, even the difficult ones, your biggest ally. Whether you have a micromanager, a hands-off leader, or someone who changes their mind every 5 minutes, this book hands you the tools to work smarter, not harder. Stick around, because what you'll hear today could be the key to opening doors you never even knew existed. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Stop complaining and start winning. Managing up is the key to your success. Success at work isn't just about talent or hard work. It's about knowing how to manage the most important relationship in your career, the one with your boss. Chapter 1 throws out the outdated mindset that your manager alone is responsible for your growth and success. Instead, it flips the script. You are in control. Too often, employees waste time and energy complaining about their boss's flaws, leadership style, or lack of support. But here's the hard truth. Complaining changes nothing. The real power move? Learning how to work with your boss effectively, no matter their style, strengths, or weaknesses. Managing up is not about manipulation or flattery. It's about understanding what makes your boss tick, what pressures they face, and how you can align your work with their goals. This chapter makes one thing clear. Your success is tied to your ability to adapt. Maybe your boss is a micromanager who suffocates every project. Or perhaps they're so hands-off that you feel lost. Instead of resisting their style, you need to decode it and strategize how to work with it. The most successful professionals don't fight their boss's quirks. They leverage them. Managing up isn't about changing who you are. It's about being smart, proactive, and solution-focused. The moment you shift from frustration to action, you put yourself in the driver's seat of your career. This chapter challenges you to stop seeing your boss as an obstacle and start seeing them as an opportunity. Because when you learn to manage up, you stop waiting for success to come to you. You go out and make it happen. Chapter 2. Is your boss an innie or outie? Understanding your boss's personality is the key to working with them effectively, and this chapter breaks it down into two fundamental types: innies and outies. Recognizing which category your boss falls into can change the way you communicate, collaborate, and ultimately thrive at work. An innie is an introverted leader, thoughtful, analytical, and private. They process information internally, prefer written communication, and may seem distant or reserved. If your boss is an innie, don't mistake their quiet nature for disinterest. Instead, give them space to think. Be prepared for one-on-one discussions rather than spontaneous brainstorming, and communicate in a way that respects their need for structure and clarity. On the other hand, an outie is an extroverted leader, energetic, talkative, and spontaneous. They thrive on verbal discussions, quick decisions, and social interactions. If your boss is an outie, long emails won't grab their attention. Concise, face-to-face conversations will. Be ready to engage in fast-paced discussions, adapt to their shifting priorities, and match their enthusiasm. The secret to managing up is not expecting your boss to adapt to you, but learning how to adapt to them. Whether you're dealing with a deep-thinking innie or a high-energy outie, the goal is to work with their natural tendencies, not against them. When you tailor your approach to fit your boss's style, you build trust, improve collaboration, and position yourself as someone who just gets it. Mastering this distinction gives you an edge, because when you understand how your boss operates, you stop guessing and start winning. Chapter 3. The innie. If your boss is an innie, you're working with someone who values deep thinking, structure, and independence. Innies are introverted leaders, reserved, analytical, and often slow to speak, but quick to process information internally. They prefer facts over feelings, written communication over spontaneous discussions, and logic over emotion. If you've ever felt like your boss is distant, unresponsive, or hard to read, chances are they're an innie. The key to working successfully with an innie is respecting their space and thought process. Don't expect them to engage in long-winded conversations or make snap decisions. Instead, give them time to process information and provide them with well-organized, concise updates. When sending an email or document, keep it clear, structured, and straight to the point. Ambiguity frustrates them, so make sure you're prepared with facts and solutions rather than just problems. Innies also dislike unnecessary meetings and interruptions. If you need their input, don't ambush them at their desk. Instead, schedule a time in advance and let them know what to expect. They thrive in environments where they can focus, reflect, and work without constant chatter. If you want to gain their trust, show that you can work independently and bring well-thought-out ideas to the table. While innies may not shower you with praise, don't mistake their quiet demeanor for disapproval. They value competence, reliability, and professionalism. The more you align with their preference for structure and depth, the more you'll position yourself as someone they can count on. Understanding how to manage up with an innie isn't just a skill, it's a strategy for long-term success. Chapter 4. The Outie. If your boss is an outie, get ready for energy, speed, and spontaneity. Outies are extroverted leaders, talkative, social, and action-oriented. They thrive on interaction, prefer quick decisions over long deliberations, and enjoy bouncing ideas around in real time. If you've ever had a boss who constantly changes direction, calls impromptu meetings, or values enthusiasm as much as expertise, you're likely dealing with an outie. To succeed with an outie, match their energy and adaptability. Unlike innies, who need time to process, outies think out loud. So don't be surprised if their thoughts shift from one conversation to the next. Instead of resisting their fast-paced approach, learn to roll with it. Keep your communication brief, engaging, and to the point. Long emails will go unread, but a quick conversation will grab their attention. Outies also crave connection. They appreciate employees who engage, speak up, and contribute to discussions. Silence can be misinterpreted as disinterest or lack of initiative. So if you want to make an impression, be present, be vocal, and be willing to brainstorm on the fly. That said, outies can sometimes overlook details in their rush to move forward. This is where you can provide value by keeping track of specifics, following up on unfinished conversations, and ensuring execution matches intention. They might not always remember what they told you yesterday, so keeping clear records and gently reinforcing priorities can help keep things on track. Managing up with an outie means being adaptable, responsive, and confident. If you can keep up with their momentum and bring clarity to their vision, you'll not only gain their trust, you'll position yourself as someone who thrives in a fast-moving environment. Chapter 5. Workplace Styles. Assessing your boss's work style personality. Every boss has a unique work style, and understanding it is the key to working smarter, not harder. This chapter breaks down the different workplace styles and teaches you how to assess your boss's personality to navigate their expectations, communication preferences, and decision-making habits. Not all leaders think, act, or prioritize the same way. Some bosses are highly structured, relying on detailed plans and rigid processes. Others are big-picture thinkers who focus on vision rather than execution. Some prefer data-driven decisions, while others trust their gut and move fast. Your job isn't to change them. It's to recognize their style and adjust your approach accordingly. The first step, observe how your boss operates. Do they expect detailed reports, or do they prefer quick verbal updates? Do they micromanage, or do they give you full autonomy? Do they thrive on collaboration, or do they prefer independent work? Identifying these patterns will help you tailor your interactions and make you a more effective communicator. Another critical factor is their pace. Some bosses like to move fast, pushing for rapid decisions and constant momentum. Others are more methodical, preferring time to analyze before taking action. Matching their speed and approach to problem solving can build trust and minimize friction. This chapter makes one thing clear. Adapting to your boss's work style isn't about losing your individuality. It's about strategic alignment. When you work with their natural tendencies instead of against them, you increase your influence, improve collaboration, and make yourself indispensable. Managing up isn't just about getting along. It's about positioning yourself for success by working with your boss's style, not against it. Chapter 6, the Energizer. If your boss is the Energizer, get ready for high energy, rapid decisions, and an always-on-the-move leadership style. Energizers thrive on enthusiasm, quick thinking, and action. They love big ideas, bold initiatives, and a fast-paced work environment. Sitting still isn't their thing. Momentum drives them, and they expect their team to keep up. Working with an Energizer requires adaptability. They move fast, often making snap decisions and shifting priorities without warning. If you're waiting for detailed instructions, you'll be left behind. Instead, be proactive. Anticipate their needs, stay one step ahead, and be ready to pivot when plans change. Flexibility is key. Communication with an Energizer should be short, engaging, and direct. Long-winded explanations won't hold their attention. If you need a decision, get to the point quickly. Frame your ideas in a way that highlights speed, impact, and results, because that's what excites them. One challenge of working with an Energizer is their tendency to overlook details. They're visionaries, always chasing the next big thing. That's where you come in. Help ground their energy by tracking follow-ups, ensuring execution, and keeping things from slipping through the cracks. They appreciate people who bring structure to their vision without slowing them down. Above all, match their enthusiasm. Energizers feed off positive energy. If you approach them with hesitation or resistance, they'll lose confidence in you. But if you bring solutions, energy, and a can-do attitude, they'll see you as an invaluable asset. Managing up with an Energizer means embracing their speed, keeping up with their ideas, and bringing clarity to their chaos. If you can channel their energy in the right direction, you won't just keep up, you'll thrive. Chapter 7, the Advancer. If your boss is the Advancer, you're working with someone who is ambitious, results-driven, and always focused on moving forward. Advancers are natural leaders who thrive on progress, pushing their teams to excel and expecting high performance at all times. They set bold goals, demand results, and don't have patience for hesitation or excuses. To succeed with an Advancer, you need to be sharp, proactive, and solution-oriented. These bosses appreciate employees who take initiative, make decisions with confidence, and move quickly from problem to solution. They don't want to hear about roadblocks. They want to know how you'll overcome them. The key is to bring them ideas that are action-focused, efficient, and tied directly to business outcomes. Communication with an Advancer should be clear, direct, and to the point. They don't have time for excessive details or unnecessary background information. If you need their input, be prepared with a well-thought-out recommendation rather than just presenting a problem. They respect employees who think critically and act decisively. One challenge of working with an Advancer is their relentless drive. They can be demanding, always looking for ways to improve and expecting their team to keep pace. If you're not prepared to push yourself, you may struggle under their leadership. But if you can match their ambition, deliver results, and prove yourself as someone who drives progress, you'll earn their trust and respect. Managing up with an Advancer means embracing their fast-moving, results-oriented mindset. Show that you're an asset in their mission to advance, and they'll see you as a key player in their success and yours. Chapter 8, the Harmonizer. If your boss is the Harmonizer, you're working with someone who prioritizes relationships, teamwork, and a positive work environment. Harmonizers believe that success comes from collaboration, mutual respect, and keeping the team engaged and motivated. They value open communication, emotional intelligence, and conflict resolution, often striving to create a workplace where everyone feels heard and appreciated. To work effectively with a Harmonizer, focus on building trust and maintaining strong interpersonal connections. They appreciate employees who are cooperative, supportive, and willing to work together to achieve shared goals. Unlike more aggressive leadership styles, Harmonizers don't respond well to confrontation or rigid demands. They prefer diplomatic discussions and win-win solutions. Communication with a Harmonizer should be empathetic, inclusive, and considerate. While they are decision makers, they often seek input from their team before making a final call. If you want to influence their decisions, present your ideas in a way that emphasizes collaboration and long-term harmony. They are more likely to be persuaded by how a decision impacts people rather than just the bottom line. One challenge of working with a harmonizer is that their desire to maintain peace can sometimes slow decision making. They may avoid difficult conversations or hesitate to take bold actions that could create tension. This is where you can provide value by helping them navigate tough decisions with diplomacy while keeping the team aligned and moving forward. Managing up with a harmonizer means embracing their people-first mindset. Show that you are a team player, communicate with respect and empathy, and help them maintain a positive, productive work environment. When you align with their values, you'll not only earn their trust, but also create a smoother, more collaborative path to success. Chapter 9. The Evaluator. If your boss is the evaluator, you're working with someone who is analytical, detail-oriented, and driven by data. Evaluators are meticulous leaders who rely on facts, logic, and thorough analysis to make decisions. They value precision, quality, and evidence-backed results, often taking time to carefully assess situations before moving forward. Working with an evaluator means you need to be well-prepared, organized, and thorough. These bosses don't make quick decisions based on gut feeling. They want to see the numbers, the facts, and the evidence that support your proposal. When presenting information, be clear and structured. Don't just tell them what you think. Show them why it matters with solid reasoning and reliable data. Communication with an evaluator should be structured, precise, and focused on substance. They don't appreciate fluff or vague ideas. If you want their attention, be concise, but ensure that your ideas are backed by research or clear examples. They may ask probing questions, so be ready to defend your position with facts. If you're unsure of an answer, be honest. Evaluators respect honesty and a willingness to seek out the right information rather than guessing or giving a quick, uninformed response. The challenge of working with an evaluator is their sometimes slow decision-making process. They can become bogged down in details, which can be frustrating if you need quick feedback or approval. However, this thorough approach can work to your benefit if you're prepared with clear, well-supported data and a logical approach. Managing up with an evaluator means embracing their love for structure, facts, and analysis. If you can provide well-researched, well-thought-out solutions, you'll gain their trust and respect. They're not easily swayed by emotions. They value rationality, so when you align with that approach, you'll find your path to success becoming clearer. Chapter 10. Difficult Bosses. In this chapter, the focus is on navigating the tricky terrain of working with a difficult boss. While every leader has their quirks, some bosses present unique challenges that can make work feel more like a minefield. Whether they're unpredictable, demanding, or lack clear communication, dealing with difficult bosses requires patience, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. The first step in managing up with a difficult boss is to maintain your professionalism. It's easy to become frustrated or defensive when faced with a boss who seems impossible to please, but emotional reactions will only escalate tensions. Instead, focus on staying calm, objective, and composed. Your ability to manage your emotions will not only help you cope, but also earn you respect. Next, understand their motivations and triggers. Often, difficult bosses aren't just difficult for the sake of it. They may have high stress levels, insecurities, or be facing pressures from their own superiors. Take time to assess what drives their behavior and what might be causing their difficult actions. Are they overworked? Do they lack trust in their team? Understanding the root of their behavior can help you craft a strategy for smoother interactions. Another crucial tip is to set boundaries without being confrontational. Difficult bosses may try to take advantage of your time or push unreasonable expectations. Be clear about what you can and cannot do and set realistic timelines. At the same time, manage their expectations by delivering consistent results and demonstrating reliability. Over time, showing that you can handle pressure with grace will shift their perception of you. Managing a difficult boss is no small feat, but it's an opportunity to grow your resilience and problem-solving skills. By staying focused, understanding their perspective, and setting boundaries, you'll not only survive, but thrive in even the most challenging work environments. Chapter 11. The Micromanager. In this chapter, we take a closer look at one of the most challenging types of bosses to work with, the micromanager. Micromanagers are often well-meaning, but their need to control every detail can feel stifling. They may doubt their team's ability to complete tasks independently, leading to constant oversight, frequent check-ins, and excessive direction. While it can be frustrating to deal with, understanding how to manage up in these situations is essential for maintaining your own productivity and sanity. The key to working effectively with a micromanager is proactive communication. These bosses need to feel confident that tasks are being handled properly. To ease their worries, provide regular updates. Be transparent about your progress, highlight any challenges, and outline the steps you're taking to overcome them. This proactive approach can help reduce their need to hover over you. Another effective strategy is to set clear expectations from the start. Micromanagers often become controlling because they feel uncertain about the outcome. By aligning on objectives, timelines, and deliverables early in the process, you can reassure them that you understand the goals and are capable of achieving them without constant supervision. It's also important to build trust over time. The more reliable and consistent you are, the less likely they'll feel the need to intervene. Demonstrate your competence through high-quality work and your ability to meet deadlines. Slowly but surely, micromanagers can learn to loosen their grip if they see you're capable of handling responsibility. While working with a micromanager can feel exhausting, it's also an opportunity to develop your skills in self-discipline and effective communication. By setting boundaries, staying proactive, and proving your capability, you can not only alleviate their need for control, but also pave the way for greater autonomy and trust in the future. Chapter 12. The Hands-Off, Absentee Ghost Boss. In this chapter, we address a challenging yet often overlooked leadership style, the hands-off, absentee, or ghost boss. These leaders are physically or emotionally distant, providing minimal direction, feedback, or support. While some may think this lack of presence offers freedom, it can also create feelings of confusion, frustration, and disconnection among team members. Working under a boss who is frequently unavailable or disengaged can feel like you're navigating without a compass. The first step in managing up with a hands-off boss is taking initiative. When your boss isn't offering clear direction, you need to step up and take responsibility for your own tasks and outcomes. Be proactive in identifying your goals, setting timelines, and ensuring progress. This will show that you're self-motivated and capable of thriving without constant oversight. However, while independence is important, it's equally crucial to stay connected. Even though your boss may not be actively engaged, they still need to know how you're progressing. Find ways to keep them in the loop without being overbearing. Provide regular status updates and brief reports, and be prepared to seek feedback when needed. This keeps them informed without requiring them to invest significant time. Another key strategy is managing expectations. With a hands-off boss, it's easy to feel like you're on your own, but you must ensure you're aligned with their overall vision and priorities. Ask clarifying questions early on and make sure you're not veering off course. If you're uncertain about something, don't wait for them to tell you. Take the initiative to seek clarity. Working with a ghost boss can feel isolating, but it's also an opportunity to build resilience and refine your self-management skills. By taking charge, staying connected, and seeking out feedback, you'll not only thrive in this environment, but also develop the confidence and independence needed to succeed in any workplace. Chapter 13. The Narcissist. In this chapter, we look at one of the most difficult types of bosses to work with, the narcissist. Narcissistic leaders often focus on their own needs, desires, and image, leaving little room for the well-being or input of others. They thrive on admiration, attention, and control, and their leadership style can be both demanding and self-serving. Working with a narcissist can feel like walking on eggshells, as they often lack empathy, dismiss feedback, and frequently take credit for the successes of their team. To succeed with a narcissistic boss, self-preservation becomes a key focus. While these bosses may not offer much emotional support, they do value results and image. The first step is to understand their motivations. They want to look good and feel superior. Aligning your work in a way that highlights their success can help earn their favor. Present your accomplishments in a way that demonstrates how they contribute to their overall success, emphasizing how your work benefits them directly. Another crucial element in dealing with a narcissistic boss is managing your boundaries. Narcissists may try to manipulate situations to their advantage, expecting others to sacrifice their own needs. It's important to protect your time and energy by setting clear limits, but you must do so in a way that doesn't threaten their ego. Be firm but diplomatic, ensuring that your boundaries are respected without provoking conflict. Additionally, don't take their behavior personally. Narcissistic leaders are driven by insecurities and a need for validation. Their lack of empathy doesn't reflect on you. It's a reflection of their character. By focusing on the task at hand, maintaining your professionalism, and avoiding unnecessary confrontation, you can navigate their challenges while continuing to progress in your own career. Managing up with a narcissist requires strategic thinking, emotional detachment, and the ability to position yourself as valuable without losing your integrity. With the right approach, you can manage the relationship effectively and even thrive under their leadership. Chapter 14. The Impulsive Boss. In this chapter, we look at working with the impulsive boss, a leader driven by gut reactions, spur-of-the-moment decisions, and a tendency to jump into things without careful thought. Impulsive bosses are quick to take action, but can often overlook the long-term consequences of their decisions. They thrive on excitement, spontaneity, and immediate results, which can make them unpredictable and at times chaotic to work with. The first key to managing up with an impulsive boss is to anticipate the unpredictability. You never know when they'll make a snap decision or change direction. By staying flexible and adaptable, you can manage their rapid shifts without being thrown off course. Embrace a proactive mindset, so you're prepared to pivot when needed, and don't let their urgency overwhelm your own priorities. Another crucial approach is to rein in their impulses by offering a more grounded perspective. When they propose a hasty decision, guide them back to thoughtful planning without being dismissive. Present your ideas with structure and logic, showing the potential consequences of their quick decisions. Help them see the bigger picture by asking insightful questions that slow them down and encourage reflection, without making them feel like you're challenging their authority. With an impulsive boss, it's important to communicate effectively. Since they often prioritize action over analysis, providing concise, clear information that emphasizes the what and how can help them stay focused. Make sure your communication is aligned with their need for speed, but includes enough context for them to make informed decisions. Managing up with an impulsive boss requires patience, flexibility, and the ability to balance action with caution. By understanding their tendencies and learning to guide their impulsiveness, you can work effectively within this whirlwind leadership style, turning their enthusiasm into successful, strategic outcomes. Chapter 15. The Pushover Boss. In this chapter, we examine the pushover boss, someone who struggles to set boundaries, avoid conflict, and assert authority. While they may seem easy to work with at first, friendly, accommodating, and non-confrontational, this leadership style often leads to disorganization, lack of direction, and an erosion of respect. The pushover boss may say yes to everything and everyone, but ultimately, this can leave the team feeling directionless and unsupported. To succeed with a pushover boss, the key is to step into leadership when needed. Because these bosses often avoid making tough decisions, there's an opportunity for you to take initiative and fill the void. This doesn't mean taking over their role, but offering to lead on important projects and making suggestions that help move things forward. By doing so, you not only ensure that tasks get completed, but also earn their trust and respect for your ability to lead. Another important approach is managing their decisions. Since pushover bosses often lack the assertiveness to make choices, they may defer to others, leaving you in situations where you need to guide them. Help them focus by presenting clear options and recommendations, outlining the pros and cons of each so they can make decisions more confidently. This can relieve their burden and streamline decision-making while ensuring that progress continues. It's also vital to protect your own boundaries in these situations. A pushover boss may overburden their team with tasks or fail to set expectations, leading to frustration. Set clear limits on your workload and communicate when something is too much to handle. Establishing these boundaries will help avoid burnout and establish a healthier dynamic. Working with a pushover boss requires a balance of leadership, diplomacy, and assertiveness. By stepping up to fill the leadership gaps, guiding their decisions, and setting clear boundaries, you'll help create a more structured and productive work environment, all while maintaining a positive relationship with your boss. Chapter 16. The BFF Boss. In this chapter, we delve into the dynamics of working with a BFF boss, a leader who blurs the lines between professional and personal relationships. They're friendly, approachable, and often treat their employees like friends, making the work environment feel relaxed and informal. However, this close connection can create challenges, especially when it comes to maintaining boundaries, handling difficult conversations, or making objective decisions. The BFF boss may struggle to discipline employees, give critical feedback, or take a tough stance when needed, which can create confusion or even favoritism within the team. To succeed with a BFF boss, the first step is to maintain professionalism, even if your boss encourages a casual atmosphere. While being friendly with your boss can help build trust, it's important to keep your relationship grounded in respect for the boundaries of the workplace. Stay focused on your goals and don't allow the friendship to interfere with work expectations or decisions. It's also crucial to navigate difficult situations carefully. Because a BFF boss often avoids confrontation, you may find yourself needing to step up and address challenges more directly. When issues arise, whether it's with your performance or the team's, frame your concerns in a way that maintains the relationship but also drives the conversation forward. Be honest but tactful, ensuring that your boss knows you value both the friendship and the professional dynamic. Another important consideration is ensuring fair treatment. A BFF boss may unintentionally give special treatment to certain employees or overlook important issues because they're trying to maintain a friendly environment. If you feel that fairness is compromised, speak up in a constructive way that helps keep the workplace inclusive and equitable for all. Ultimately, working with a BFF boss requires balance. By maintaining professionalism, addressing challenges tactfully, and ensuring fairness, you can navigate this unique relationship while fostering a productive and respectful work environment. Chapter 17. The Workaholic Boss. In this chapter, we examine the workaholic boss, a leader who is constantly on the clock, driven by an insatiable need to achieve and overwork. They often expect their team to mirror their tireless work ethic, leading to a high-pressure environment where burnout is a real risk. While workaholic bosses are usually high achievers with a strong commitment to their jobs, their relentless drive can create an unhealthy work culture. They may blur the boundaries between work and personal life, often pushing their team to meet unreasonable expectations or working late into the night. To manage up effectively with a workaholic boss, it's essential to manage expectations. Understand that their demanding nature may stem from their own need to succeed and show productivity, but it doesn't mean you should be stretched beyond your limits. Set clear boundaries on what you can realistically accomplish without sacrificing your well-being. Communicate these limits in a respectful way, helping them understand that while you are dedicated, you also value balance and quality over sheer volume of work. Another critical aspect is to support their vision while staying mindful of your personal limits. Workaholic bosses often need validation and a team that mirrors their dedication. Rather than simply working harder, work smarter. Present solutions that increase efficiency, streamline processes, and ultimately ease their workload. By doing so, you not only meet their expectations, but also help shift the focus from relentless work to strategic productivity. It's also important to take care of your own health. A workaholic boss may encourage working beyond normal hours, but the best way to avoid burnout is to maintain a healthy work-life balance. This not only keeps you at your best professionally, but shows your boss that you're committed to sustainable success. Working with a workaholic boss requires resilience, clarity in your communication, and the ability to balance hard work with personal well-being. By managing your workload and setting healthy boundaries, you can succeed without sacrificing your peace of mind. Chapter 18, The Incompetent Boss. In this chapter, we delve into working with the incompetent boss, a leader who lacks the necessary skills, knowledge, or experience to lead effectively. This boss may make poor decisions, lack direction, or fail to manage their team properly, creating confusion and frustration in the workplace. While the incompetence might stem from a lack of training, confidence, or expertise, it often results in a leader who struggles to earn the respect of their team. To manage up effectively with an incompetent boss, the first step is to recognize and address the gap. Acknowledge that their weaknesses aren't necessarily personal. They may not have the support or skills to lead effectively. The key is to adapt and find ways to fill in those gaps without undermining their authority. Offer assistance when needed, present well-researched solutions, and approach situations with patience and understanding. The goal is to work alongside them without taking over. Another important tactic is proactively managing the team's needs. Since an incompetent boss may fail to give clear direction or set appropriate goals, it's important to step up and help guide the team. Take the initiative by organizing priorities, suggesting strategies, and ensuring that the team stays on track. However, always do this with tact, supporting the boss's leadership while subtly taking charge behind the scenes. It's also essential to provide constructive feedback. If the opportunity arises, offer feedback in a way that doesn't criticize their leadership directly, but encourages growth and improvement. Frame your suggestions as opportunities for their success and the team's success, rather than pointing out shortcomings. In conclusion, managing up with an incompetent boss is about patience, initiative, and strategic support. By stepping in to fill the gaps, guiding the team, and offering constructive feedback, you can help both your boss and the organization succeed while keeping your own professional growth on track. Chapter 19, The Nitpickers and Seagulls. In this chapter, we explore two challenging types of bosses, the nitpicker and the seagull. Both can create frustrating dynamics in the workplace, but understanding their behaviors and adjusting your approach is key to managing up effectively. The nitpicker is a boss who focuses on every tiny detail, often to the point of micromanagement. They obsess over the smallest issues, disregarding the bigger picture. This constant scrutiny can feel stifling and demoralizing, as their need for perfection often leaves employees second-guessing their work. The key to managing up with a nitpicker is to anticipate their concerns and address them before they're raised. Pay extra attention to details, double-check your work, and provide thorough explanations to minimize their need to micromanage. Proactively delivering results with accuracy helps build trust and reduces their need for constant correction. On the other hand, the seagull boss is one who swoops in occasionally, offering unsolicited advice and criticism without fully understanding the situation. Much like a seagull flying in, they drop their opinions, create chaos, and then leave, leaving the team to clean up the mess. This type of boss often lacks follow-through and may disrupt workflows without contributing to solutions. To manage effectively with a seagull, it's important to set clear expectations and keep them informed with regular updates, making sure they understand the status of the work. When they do offer feedback, engage with them respectfully and tactfully, ensuring their input doesn't derail progress or cause unnecessary confusion. In conclusion, managing up with nitpickers and seagulls requires patience, strategic communication, and proactive actions. By addressing their tendencies with precision and diplomacy, you can maintain your productivity and keep the workplace dynamic flowing smoothly. Chapter 20, The Truly Terrible, Psycho, Crazy, Bully, Tyrannical, Screaming Egomaniacs. In this chapter, we confront one of the most difficult scenarios in the workplace, the truly toxic boss. This is the leader who crosses the line from demanding to downright destructive. They may be manipulative, narcissistic, bullying, or downright cruel, using their position to intimidate, belittle, and dominate their team. Their behavior creates a toxic work environment filled with stress, fear, and low morale. These bosses are often egomaniacs who view themselves as above others, and they project their insecurities onto their employees, creating a cycle of dysfunction. So, how do you manage up with a boss who seems intent on making your work life unbearable? First and foremost, preserve your mental and emotional well being. Recognize that the problem lies with the boss, not you. Their behavior is not a reflection of your abilities or worth. It's essential to set firm personal boundaries, ensuring that you don't absorb their negativity. You must maintain a sense of professionalism, even when their actions may be triggering or hostile. Next, document everything. Toxic bosses often operate in ways that can be manipulative, misleading, or even borderline abusive. Keeping a record of interactions, especially those that involve threats or unprofessional behavior, protects you and gives you concrete evidence if you need to escalate the situation. It also helps you avoid second-guessing your experiences in the face of their manipulation. However, in some cases, the only way to thrive with a truly toxic boss is to develop an exit strategy. While some bosses can be managed with tact and communication, others are simply too damaging to engage with long-term. If the situation doesn't improve and is affecting your health, career, or happiness, it may be time to consider finding a healthier work environment. Ultimately, managing up with a truly toxic boss is about protecting yourself, keeping your integrity intact, and knowing when to walk away from a situation that cannot be fixed. Chapter 21. It's okay to quit. In this chapter, we explore an important truth that many professionals overlook. Sometimes, it's okay to quit. While the focus of managing up is often about adapting, improving relationships, and making the best of a difficult situation, there are times when the best decision for your career and well-being is to walk away. Quitting doesn't mean failure. In fact, it can be a powerful, positive choice when staying in a toxic environment would harm your mental health, stifle your growth, or sabotage your career. This chapter encourages you to assess your situation critically and recognize when the cost of staying outweighs the potential benefits. A job or boss that leaves you constantly stressed, undervalued, or emotionally drained may not be worth the toll it takes on you. It's essential to be honest with yourself about your limits and your aspirations. If you've done all you can to manage up, communicate openly, and try to improve the situation without seeing any progress, it may be time to let go. The emotional and physical toll of enduring a toxic work environment can be long-lasting. Your personal happiness, health, and professional fulfillment should take priority over staying in a job simply for the sake of persevering. Quitting is not a sign of weakness. It's an act of strength. It's about choosing to preserve your well-being and align your career with environments that foster your success. And sometimes, stepping away opens the door to new opportunities that better match your skills, values, and goals. In conclusion, this chapter reminds us that it's okay to quit when it's the right choice for you. Stepping away from a toxic boss or workplace might be the most empowering thing you can do for yourself, your career, and your future. Chapter 22, Bonus Tips, 50 Ways to Manage Your Manager. As we reach the final chapter of this insightful journey, we're armed with 50 practical and powerful strategies for managing your manager, offering invaluable tools to elevate your career and workplace dynamics. This chapter doesn't just recap everything learned, it compiles a comprehensive toolkit of actionable tips to master the art of managing up. The first key takeaway from this concluding chapter is the importance of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Understanding your own strengths, weaknesses, and emotional triggers is essential in navigating any professional relationship. By recognizing how your actions and responses affect your manager, you become more strategic in your approach, avoiding unnecessary conflict and fostering a productive working dynamic. This self-awareness also sets the stage for clear and effective communication, one of the cornerstones of managing up. Another major insight in the last chapter emphasizes the significance of being solution-oriented. Rather than simply identifying problems, effective employees provide solutions. This chapter urges you to take a proactive approach when facing challenges with your manager, offering solutions that reflect your understanding of the bigger picture. Not only showcases your initiative, but also positions you as a valuable asset to your team and the organization. The final chapter also dives into the necessity of boundaries and respecting your manager's time. It stresses the importance of prioritizing tasks and respecting your manager's work style, whether they are a micromanager or more hands-off. The chapter encourages you to be mindful of your manager's communication preferences and adapt your own working style to complement theirs. Finally, the concluding advice in this chapter is to trust the process and know when to pivot. You might not always have the ideal working relationship, and that's okay. What matters is staying adaptable, resilient, and always ready to assess your relationship with your boss to make small adjustments as needed. As the last chapter in the book, these 50 tips bring the entire concept of managing up full circle, offering a wealth of strategies that ensure your career can thrive in any environment. This final chapter arms you with the tools to take command of your professional path, manage upwards with confidence, and ultimately succeed in any workplace. And that brings us to the end of Managing Up by Mary Abbajay. If this audiobook gave you a fresh perspective on working with your boss and leveling up in your career, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit that like button and subscribe to the Book Lounge so you never miss another powerful read. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below. What stood out to you the most? What strategies are you excited to try? And if there's a book you want me to feature next, let me know. Your next career breakthrough could be just one audiobook away. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.